Everybody, welcome to this day and intraday video review. Here is today April the 4th 2018. I'm Giuseppe Basile, also known as the FibStalker, and this video is part of the FibStalker Analysis and Trading Service. Now, as usual, I ask you to read and accept the disclaimer. If you have not read and done that yet, please pause the video now and go ahead and read the usual disclaimer here. Thank you. All right, so let's get into the review of these markets here. I'm going to start from the SP 500. So the SP 500 has moved lower on Monday here. Yesterday we saw a little correction here, and then today the market has retested previous lows, and it's moving higher. I don't believe this move has ended yet, and we could make the case here 25.53, 25.47, that this level has been touched here, but I still believe that it's possible to retest this 25.30 level here. Okay, this is a big range in any case, and if this is the bottom of the range, is also possible for the market to start moving higher into the top of the range. And we know that in ranges 50% rarely hold, they tend not to hold. Okay, so let's see if the 26.79 holds. If not, the market is going to move higher into the 2800 area here, and that's what we're seeing in this market as it moves within this range. The market is still in the range, and again it could continue lower here and test one of these two levels, 25.30 or the 24.82. Okay, because we are in a range here, there is no 50% we can time, and because of that also the measured moves have less. But if you have to consider less important, but if you have to consider a measured move at the moment, that's the one that we would consider on the 4-hour time frame, 26.05 being retested now. Dollar index still hovering around previous highs here. We know that these conditions, the turning price is not a point in time, so there is a process that can take, in this case is taking several weeks. So the market is at previous highs here, and we are hoping to see a breakthrough, because that would that would mean that also the lateral moves for many other markets would come to an end. Okay, and at the moment on the 4-hour time frame, this market is maintained, and it's actually responding to an inner move here. Okay, and we just have to look for the level. The dollar index is not as technical as other markets, as you know, and the reason is also the limited volume. So I'm going to use the level, and again I want to emphasize that this is after the fact, not before the fact. Even if you find this level in the coming videos, simply in this instance we are not able to find a level before the fact. We could use this extension here, but that would not be respected. So if we consider this level though, we have the potential for a continuation higher into 89.90 here and 90.24. 90.24 helps price into that 50% short on the weekly and 90.97. Gold, with the dollar index still attempting its the completion of that turning process, the dollar index obviously is showing weakness here. I want to remember that there is a solid support level that will need to be retested, and this level has been tested already successfully twice. Okay, beginning of March and mid of March here. So if the index continues higher, we're gonna see this range bringing price into the bottom of the range, and eventually that's where the important test is going to take place if the market gets there. Silver, not a lot has changed here. This market is moving lower into that first target that we knew since a few weeks now. Lateral move for this market, not really a lot to say. So let's move to the majors here, and for the Australian dollar, here we can say that we traded a 50% short, went into that first target, and the market has since hovered around the level, and we have to then, we're entitled to trace the next measure move, and if we get a strong reaction higher, that's the level that we would look for a continuation. Okay, we also have to mention here that we have a 50% short that came into play, and that is before, right? And we can trace that also as an extension here, and another ball extension here, and that would still be valid. It has barely being respected, but we will use that. Okay, and so the first level that we're going to test is the 77.69, and the second level is going to be the 78.15. Okay, and these levels needs to be tested with the FibStalker timing. As the market is turning here, it's really not technical at all, so we'll wait for the market to move. If it moves higher into 77.61, that would be our first test for this market. The euro is also keeps moving laterally here now since basically the beginning of the year. Not a lot of action, unfortunately, and I like to keep here the 50% from the high to recent high to recent low here, and we know that market that is moving laterally, actually in that market bulls and bears fail continuously. So here we have bears failing, bulls successful, bears failing, bulls failing, bears failing, bulls failing. So that's a definition of a lateral market. Okay, however, one of these two groups eventually will win, and if the bears will win, considering what's happening in the dollar index, then the 123.55 could act as our level of resistance to start a new move lower, or the move lower. Okay, and the first target for that move lower would be the 120.56. Okay, the so we still have this is a waiting game for the euro dollar. We still have to wait, and there's nothing to do at the moment. The pound here, it's relatively stronger, and there are a couple of levels I want to show you, a couple of levels here, and this market seems to be holding on another bull anchor here. Honestly, I was not anticipating that, and that's what has been tested once, twice, three times here, and every time the market got into that 140.14, 140.15 here, it actually has that level was rejected, lower level were rejected. Okay, and on the short side of things here, on the 4-hour time frame, we can trace another bull anchor that so far also has been holding price. Okay, and that's what we can say about this market here. I was looking for a behavior similar to the euro, but that so far has not materialized. So we have support at 140.14, and we have currently resistance at 40.92. So if the dollar continues higher, this might hold, and we could see more weakness in this market that stays, in any case, very, very strong. Pound stays strong all over the board, so we have to be very, very careful in trading shorts. US dollar, Canadian dollar. So this market is continuing lower. You will remember that this market has failed the next extension move. You have it here on this chart. There was the highs, two new highs, failure from the bulls were not able to pick up this price, and then price came to trade the extension short here. Okay, so the extension short traded once, twice, and is pushing price lower. The trend higher here has ended, so the trend lower has started, and this market could be pushed lower into 126.87. In fact, the second target of this extension is 126.68, helping price into that 50% long. And because the shorts have traded before, that long might fail as well. Of course, it's very likely going to offer a profit-taking spot, also because there is this measure move now going on the 4-hour time frame. This market came back not to trade the 50%, but to trade the extension short because of the strong move lower, and that's what's pushing this price lower as well. Okay, the reason why was not the 50% here. It was because this move was very, very decline here was very, very strong. So the pace is here is much stronger than the pace in the last move here, in the last few days. Okay, 3 times stronger than the previous or more. Okay, so this is pushing price lower, and we should see price continuing lower here with this setup, daily setup, short on this market. US dollar Swiss franc here has traded the 50% long, and went to a previous size, came back, probably going to trade hourly, sorry, a 4-hour extension here, and we can check that. It's not a daily extension, it's a 4-hour extension, and it's another bull anchor here. So that's what has been trading in this market, so we could anticipate that, and in any case, you know, we identified the entry here. This was simply a sequence of measured moves, so you could not have missed this one. 50% to first target, next measured move 50% to now approaching that first target as well. Okay, we could see that during the week as well. All right, moving forward to US dollar Japanese yen. US dollar Japanese yen, as expected, being a little bit weaker here. In fact, look at the retrace that he had yesterday, almost 80-90% of that move. Still, we need to stick with it and stay with the trend here. The first target is 107.57, and we need to see whether we're going to see any resistance in this market, and that could come just above that level. So that's the first extension short plus previous resistance, and as you can see here, this market has not hit any 50% longs, so this is profit taking, and that's the reason also it's very weak. It's likely profit taking and smaller time frame involved, bringing price into that 107.74, and after that we should see a continuation lower for this market. Okay, I'm not anticipating this market reversing. Of course, anything can happen, and technically this market is in a range because the highs to lows have failed, bears failed, and bulls failed too. So this market is in a range and it could continue higher. However, if we need to look at one of the two directions, the shorts seem to be stronger here. Look at what they broke price. Okay, so that's the only consideration that we can do, and of course we have an extension short here that we need to consider as well and respect if that's the case. New Zealand dollar US dollar is currently trading in a range as anticipated yesterday, 71.90 to 72.94. Now it has reached the top of the range. We need to be careful here because this is not only a range, but there is a larger extension long that has been expected once, twice, three times on the weekly time frame, while the shorts are on the daily time frame. So the larger time frame always has the precedence, and for these reasons it's not advisable to short this market now, right? We have weekly pushing against dailies, and although dailies could win, we need to be more careful. Okay, and that's one of the basic rules that we have. Last but not least is the US dollar Singapore dollar that yesterday has respected the 50%, bringing price into the first target, and on a smaller time frame here, technical market, not very much on the larger time frame, where this market, if it's rotating like the dollar index, we should be seeing it moving higher eventually. But on the smaller time frame, it had actually and another reason it's not technical on the larger time is that the 50% here came into play, but never went into the first target, which means that there is also buying pressure in this market. Okay, so the 50% on the daily here, as we can see here, tested twice, 4 hours, tested twice, went right into the first target, and now we have the next measured move, which is very, very clear and clean. It's it might have been tested already, 131.21. If he comes back to this level, 21.24, yes, it has been tested, and if he comes back to this level and respects it, then this is a move higher into 131.70. Okay, all right, so this is it for this intraday review. Be careful as always, and if you have any questions, I will answer those in the room. Thank you very much, and see you later. Bye bye now.